Howdy folks, Spada here, and today we're looking at something a little on the larger side. But first off, I have to apologize. If you hear crickets in the background, apparently a cricket got into the house and made its way upstairs and is in the room chirping. Eventually the cats will eat it, so I'm not too worried. But, well, today we're taking a look at Amazon.com exclusive Unicron in the original coloring scheme of blue, gold, yellow, and I forgot I pre-ordered this thing. So, as you can see, it is Unicron with Kre-O. For those of you who do not know, that was a character who died in the original 1986 movie. I suggest you go Wikipedia that name. Box is very nicely displayed. It shows off the figure very well. It's in the actual, almost same exact pose that it was when it was released in the Armada line. On the side here, we have all of its options: missile, firing missiles, movie accurate head, chest missile, which was not in the movie, glowing eyes, and a glowing middle finger. Back of the box is well detailed. And there's a really nice blurb here about Unicron, and I love his stats. I don't know how well you can see that. Strength, infinity. Intelligence, infinity. Speed, 10. Endurance, infinity. Rank, 10. Courage, 10. Fire blast, infinity. Skill, 10. The dude is a giant planet that moves probably at the speed of light. I think that's infinity. Bottom is nothing. So I'm going to go ahead and open them up, and we'll go ahead and take a look at them. So in opening them up, I thought I'd show you this because it's actually pretty interesting. As opposed to being in a box, it's kind of in a shell. So I'm just taking a razor blade that I would use for models, when I build models, and I'm just going around and cutting around up top. And the lid pops right off. That allows us to pull the entire figure out. Now, the entire front of the packaging is just the display tray, and then there's quite a bit of weight in the rest of this. So we'll get to the figure here in a second. I'm going to take a look at what's in here. And this is sealed. Okay, so we have bits for the planet, the internal missile, all of his missiles, the bits for the ring, and then that's it. Oh, and the directions too. They're also in there. So, the one thing I am looking forward to is not having to deal with twist ties, because the original figure was twist tied all to heck. So, I'm going to go ahead and cut them loose. Once assembled and taken out of the box, Unicron in this paint scheme is quite amazing looking. I absolutely love the overall look that this paint scheme gives him. It's a very, very Gen 1 movie look, and I absolutely adore it. This is, after all, one of the figures that I really do like quite a bit. The only issue I have with him in robot mode is the fact that the shell bits from his planet mode do hang off the back like bat wings, but you can always take them off and pose him without them. And speaking of posability, the figure itself does have quite a bit of posability, which I'll get into in a moment. The only oddity is Kre-O, which, yes, this is an Armada figure, so Unicron, had to come with a Minicon. And we'll get into his lights and sound, or lights gimmicks and other things here in just a moment. But overall, I absolutely love the look of this figure, and I think this is a phenomenal, fantastic recoloring of this figure. I really didn't like it at first when I saw pictures of it, but getting it in person, it just looks great. And I absolutely dig that face. The first of the gimmicks have to do with the feet. First off, we have the shins. Both shins open up to form little capture areas. And in the original Armada figure, you just put some minicons in there and then close the lid. Because, spoiler alert, Unicron in the original Armada, the minicons were kind of part of him. The other gimmick, which is minicon activated, is right here on the side of the legs. You plug your minicon in, and then you push it forward to fire the missiles. And they don't really go all that far, in all honesty. They're actually pretty weak. They maybe shoot 6-7 inches, maybe, if you're lucky. Moving up to the torso, we also have a section here inside the torso that opens up and folds and pops out, where you can place another minicon. That just opens up and folds out. I know there's a door there, but it pops off really easily. The next gimmick is actually contained in the chest. And that chest gimmick is activated by placing a minicon at the port back here. And we will do that. So it automatically opens up on a torsion spring and then shoots the missile out. I believe this was the Galactic Blast Cannon or something in Armada. I don't remember. And it shoots out this really, really dumb-looking missile. Now, this is the original missile that was in the original figure, and I still think it's stupid. It would have been actually cooler, personally, if it fired off a giant Nerf missile. And yeah, it makes lovely sounds going back in as well. Unfortunately, the lighting on my figure is not very good. The eyes are, well, crappy. The hand is, well, crappy. Instead of lighting up the entire hand, you just get this little dot. And the eyes, well, they kind of light up. They just flash. I wish they just stayed on. That'd be great. I'm sure I can replace them with a simple LED. We'll probably fix that up. The last gimmick is something called transport. Really, there's just a minicon peg there on the shoulder, and you just plug specifically the ball minicon in, and it spins around, but it does nothing. The spinning around, I think it just spins so that you can get a different minicon on there. Other than that, doesn't really do anything else. So now that we've taken a look at Unicron, I want to actually show you his transformation. But before we do that, I do need to show you his posability. And for those of you not familiar with this figure, it does have quite a bit of posability. Now, we don't want to forget about Kre-O here. He is a repaint of the original minicon that came with the original Armada Unicron. And I really like the actual fact that it's brown and red. It actually looks more like a moon than anything else. It does have a fold-out gimmick, so it can fold out his gun. His transformation is ridiculously simple. Simply just unfold him. Oh yeah, forgot one thing. You need to actually return the gun, rotate part of the moon like that, and then just unfold all his bits. That's really all there is to it. Kind of reminds me of a Beyblade toy, really. I think this actually came out before Beyblade, so hey, he's a precursor to Beyblade. So there we have Kre-O in robot mode, and he's a pretty cool little guy. I do, in fact, dig him, very much so. Unfortunately, he is very limited in posability, but you know what? He's a cool little guy, and I'd rather dig him. Okay, now posing this figure does offer some unique challenges, just because simply the figure is top-heavy. With all of this on the back, that does add some extra weight, and it does cause some issues. But like I said, you can take these panels off. They just pop right off. And so do these pieces. But as you can see, they just do come off pretty easily. Posability-wise, he does rotate here at the torso. His head does rotate and ratchets, but you are limited because of the flashing eye gimmick. Arms are very, very, very tight and are on ratchets. His arm can move back and forth, and his shoulders can move up and down to a degree. He's got a swivel here and then a 90-degree elbow turn. His wrists do rotate, and his fingers are individually articulated, which is nice. And yes, you can have him giving you the glowing middle finger. Legs are on ratchets. They are limited because of the skirt here in the front, but they do bend, though not easily. And these skirts do actually lift up, so you can get a good bit of movement there. And the feet do swivel and turn, so you can get some decent poses. Now, I prefer having one leg forward, one leg back, and him kind of reaching his hand out, like I showed you at the beginning of the video. But that's just me, and you're going to need a wide desk, or a very deep desk to get this guy posed, because really he wants to default to this wide-legged stance, which I don't really care for. I prefer something kind of in the middle, but that's kind of the best you can do, and the best you can hope for with this guy. It's not saying that he's bad or anything. It's just a little bit limited due to the overall size of the figure, and the fact that the ratcheting joints are as strong as they're going to get. We're going to get into the transformation of Unicron. Now, the first thing you'll notice is I remove the wings. That's actually in the instructions. Remove the wings, or in this case, the planet bits. So we actually remove those, and then the first thing we're going to do is come up here, turn his horns down, or point them forward, and then flip the head like that, and try not to crack the legs. So, as you can see, I just flipped the horns around and folded his head back. Next, we are going to take the fists and ball them up like that, and turn the arms so the forearms are facing forward, and open these doors and fold the fists in. And there we go. Alright, next thing we're going to do is, remember how I said the shoulders can move up and down? I'm going to push the shoulders all the way down so that they are level with the chest, and you'll actually see the piece of track that they flow on. Then we will fold everything forward and take the arms and unpeg them. Just be careful back here, because you're going to be dealing with the rings now. So just be careful, because things are about to get in the way. There we go. Like that. One thing I forgot to do is take this front skirt, fold it down. Otherwise, you won't be able to fold these bits in. And just sandwich them together like that. And there we have a weird grr walk spiky Unicron mode thingy. So now that we're at this point, we'll fold this back up. And this is one thing that I forgot to mention. These front skirts pop off constantly, at least on my figure. So we will take the sides of the missiles and fold them forward. And then this is where things get a little bit tricky, because things on this figure don't want to do what I want them to do. We have to take the front feet and turn them around. And sometimes this will work, sometimes it won't. Let me rephrase that. Sometimes it'll go nice and smooth, sometimes it won't. And then we will fold the back heels up over the front claws, like that. And then fold them and get them such that they sit flush right up against the shins, like that. Now what we can do is, if we straighten the legs out enough, there are pegs in the bottom of the feet, right there. And they should peg into place nicely. Sometimes you just gotta give it a little bit of force. So, next thing we are going to do is make sure that the rings are out of the way, and I know that is easier said than done, so just turn them and flip them all the way over. And then we are going to fold him up. Now, there are pegs in here that will peg into the back, or should. And I'm not sure how well I'm going to be able to show this, but there are pegs right there, and they peg in right back in holes right back here. And just getting things lined up is a little bit of a pain in the butt. Alright, so here's where we're at. We've gotten the legs flipped up, and it's getting just to the end here. So next thing we're going to do is get the rings positioned. So what you do is you just unfold them and just work at it until you get everything lined up. And the rings will connect with each other. So just kind of get everything lined up. So the last step with the rings is, in my opinion, the most annoying of the whole transformation, because once you get the rings deployed, you have to fold these parts in and then connect them together. And first off, mine, or at least on this figure and on every other Unicron I've ever owned, they do not go together easily. You got to put some force in there. Now, the first thing you're going to do is actually split that part open right there, and there are two holes right on the back there that those plug into. And then these sandwich together and sit right there. Now, how do you tell which one's which? Well, the one that goes in the back have the pegs on it, and the ones that go in the front have that bit of plastic missing, so it just rests right there. The last bit, and we're just about done here. You point these bits forward, these bits right here, and then you put the shell halves back on. And those shell halves fold and snap together. And here we have Unicron in planet mode, laying on its back. Now, I'll be the first to tell you that Unicron in planet mode looks absolutely ridiculous just sitting on a shelf like this. It looks like half a spiky egg. Honestly, it reminds me of something from Planet Wars, really. But that's not the way this figure is meant to be seen. It is meant to be seen from that angle. And I gotta tell you, that is really opposing. Now, Unicron.com, the website, offered a Unicron stand a couple of years back. But now BBTS has a newer stand that is going to be out soon. And I have already pre-ordered that, and I hope that comes in soon. Because I'm looking forward to being able to display this guy the way he is meant to be displayed. Now, that bit in the front, you'll excuse me. With the addition of Kranix, though, it looks kind of dumb. That's my only complaint about the planet mode, is that hole where Kranix is. And I think I might use one of my extra Unicrons. Yes, this is my third Unicron. And actually fill it in and do a little customizing. Oh, and there's one other gimmick he has that I really need two hands for. That's just cool. So overall, I really, really dig this paint job. This is a fantastic re-release. This is an Amazon-only exclusive Unicron figure. He is $60 on the site. He is available now. If you have never gotten a hold of this figure, I strongly recommend picking this guy up. I really am happy that I got him. He's really, really cool. And as soon as I get that stand, I'll go ahead and put up another review of that stand. But in the meantime, I'm going to figure out how to get this guy on my shelf or on my wall. So I will catch you guys later. Like I said, I'm really happy I picked this thing up.